Alright, in this video, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. I just wanted to get back on here and start talking again because it's been a couple weeks, or maybe even longer. I've lost track. But I was kind of busy with classes and stuff the last few weeks, so I kind of was getting a little lazy in my downtime. But I figured I might as well hop back on here. And I was thinking, like, I do have a little bit of an idea. I just didn't know how long it was since I did my last video. But I was thinking more of this one, kind of thinking about like the idea for repetition, because I always talk about repetition. And I think it's because, like, to create a new pattern, you have to keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it until you kind of begin to do it. You know, we used to do this our whole lives with everything that we do. You know, to become a good basketball player, what do? You keep shooting, you keep shooting, you keep shooting. So when you're trying to change your mindset, you have to keep thinking and keep learning and keep doing it. And sometimes you don't totally understand it. It's like I did a seminar over the weekend, and I've done it. This was my third or fourth time. I kind of forget. And each time I do it, it like deepens the lessons I've learned, and then I have the aha moments of, oh, I didn't get that last time, and I have a new, idea pops up or something. So it's always good to repeat stuff, but sometimes, you think that you don't need it. But to me, it's like I feel like because Tony Robbins always says, I think Jim Rohn told him, and I think I've said this before, is that repetition is the mother of skill. So the more that to become the best at something or better at something, you have to keep doing it over and over. It's like, even like getting on here and doing these videos, when I don't do some for a little while, then I kind of lose that momentum, I lose that habit, I lose that pattern, and then I get in the pattern of not doing them, so I repeat that. So again, but there's always that time where you can get back to start doing something different and doing it again. Like today, I was like, all right, I need to just get on here and see what happens, because why not share this information? We develop patterns over our whole lives. But the first thing is awareness of it. Where do these thoughts, where do these behaviors, where do these ideas even come from? Sometimes they come from our peers, our parents, our society, the group we hang out with. And sometimes they're not even our own. We just pick them up and do these things because you go along with the in crowd or whatever, or some of the popular people, or this person or that person, because they are doing it. And I like to say, just because a bunch of people are saying the same thing or doing the same thing doesn't mean it's the right thing or the good thing to do. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing to do either. But just because the majority think a certain way doesn't mean they're right all the time. And we just kind of follow those patterns throughout our lives of what we've been taught, what we've been around as kids, as youths and stuff. So we kind of just keep repeating these things until they become ingrained into our head. We create, beliefs and all that stuff. So again, that's the thing with change. It's awareness first. Like, you have to become aware that you're having these thoughts, having these patterns, having these beliefs that might not be true. Just because you believe something doesn't mean that it's true. I mean, that's one of the things you should ask yourself: is it really true? Like, for a while, I never thought I'd get on here and do this stuff. I didn't believe I could. Was that true? No. But at the time, I thought it was. But it was more or less because I was afraid. I was afraid of being seen. I was afraid of speaking in front of people, all these things. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just didn't realize that, all I had to do is get on here and share my knowledge and share what I've learned and keep doing it, because I want to see that, we all have these thoughts of, am I good enough? Am I going to be judged? And like we were learning over the weekends, like that basically a lot of these fears come up from whether or not we're going to be loved. And we feel like if we're not good enough, we don't want to be seen as a failure. If I get on here and people don't like what I'm going to have to say, then what am I going to do? I mean, these are some of the thoughts that I used to like have. I don't anymore, because I realize that that's not true. The people that need to hear this are going to find it, and the people that don't, well, They don't. You don't have to agree with everything that I say. You don't have to listen to everything that I say. But I'm saying it with love, and I'm saying it with passion that if we can all change, but we have to take responsibility first, and we have to want to change first. But the awareness of the patterns that we've developed, the beliefs we've developed, and how they've affected our lives. I mean, I when I was younger, I never thought any of this was possible because I just wouldn't talk in front of people like this. I wouldn't be vulnerable. I wouldn't be like real, like truly myself. And those are the things that we need to do. We need to just be us. We need to keep shaking, and I can't get on like straight at the camera because if I go one way, it actually goes the other way on camera. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, so yeah, we like if you don't believe you can do something, you're not going to do it. And you have to analyze and have the awareness of whether or not that belief is true. I mean, it might be uncomfortable, it might be hard, it might be challenging. And, the only way you're going to get anywhere different is to do something different and to stretch yourself. And you're not going to be good at everything overnight. It just doesn't happen. When I did my first few videos, man, I wasn't comfortable at all. I don't really know because I haven't watched the first ones in a long time. But I don't know how I look, but I definitely was nervous for a while. And I still get a little bit nervous now, but I'm not as nervous as I used to be. And it's I just kind of try to be me. So, and again, that's what I want everybody to do is realize that it just be you. You weren't here to be somebody else but you. And that's the greatest gift that God's ever given us is that. And that too, God was kind of coming up too, is like, we all have the connection to the divine, to that spirit, to that source of energy. It's in the universe. It's there. But if you don't like talk to it or convene with it or like appreciate it or like, what am I trying to think of? Like just be it. Like it's almost like a presence inside of you. I believe it's what beats our heart. It's that chi energy. It's like beats the heart. It keeps everything going in the universe. It's that energy. And when we sit with it and relax into the moment, then we can channel it through ourselves. But there's so much stuff in the outside world that it stops us from being in this moment sometimes because we got that to-do list. We have to do more, or we have to do this, we have to do that. There's always go, 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 and that creates so much stress and so much anxiety and so much beta wave activity that it stops you from being in this moment and breathing and slowing down and just enjoying the moment. It's like, even like, I don't like traffic either. Of course, it sucks sometimes, but I try to just enjoy the drive, focus on the music, focus on relax. People are going to pull out in front of you. People are going to cut you off. It's just part of the driving process. And again, who knows why they do it? It doesn't mean they have to be happy about it, but I just sit back and enjoy the ride. And, be present in this moment and slow yourself down. It's like we get sped up so much by everything that's going on around. And there's so much, yeah, that's what I was going to talk about too. That idea came up too. There's so much fear and negativity everywhere. Like they taught us, like there's a study that was done that it's like 60, 70, 80%. You're 80%, one of those percentages more likely, I forget what it is off the top of my head, more likely to click on something negative or click on something that has to do with your safety. And because the survival brain is designed to keep us safe. So if there's a threat out there, we got to know what it is. Or if there's negativity too, I don't know what it is. I guess negativity is more popular than being positive, I guess. And it's sad because that's in like the social people, whatever you want to call it, they know it. So that's what they do, is that in their headlines and everything, they kind of draw you in with all these, negative things and survival mode. And are we going to be at threat? Are we going to be killed? Like, is our safety in danger? Which, of course, everybody wants security. I do too. But I also don't focus on it as much. We can't let it, drive us in every moment. It'll drive us crazy. So, but they were talking about that too over the weekend, and like, to some, I don't even watch the news a whole lot anymore because it's so much negativity most of the time. I don't like one of the speakers was saying, you're not like, yes, I'm so happy, after the news. You're usually down after you watch the news. And I was like, yeah, it kind of does happen sometime. But I mean, obviously you want to be aware of what's going on. I get it. And I still watch it from time to time, but I don't know. I just try not to get too upset about it or, focus on it too much. But anyway, that was just kind of another thing we learned over the weekend. So, but again, some of the other stuff I'll maybe teach eventually or talk about, but this is kind of more of the, I wanted to talk about repetition, even if you're hearing the same things, because I know I repeat myself sometimes. But to break that pattern, to change that pattern, we have to ingrain the good pattern, the new pattern, because I believed for so long I couldn't do this stuff. I'm sure we all have beliefs. We're scared when we're trying to do something new that we don't know. But yet we gotta at least give it a shot and see what happens. And I talk about it too a lot too, is that we're all afraid of failure. Well, maybe not all of us, but some of us are. I used to be, and it stopped me from trying because I didn't want to fail. Because if I failed, then I'm not. That means I'm not good. But again, I never really thought about it till I learned that it's part of the process that you have to fail. There is nothing wrong with failure. The only problem is if you don't get up from that failure, then you keep going. That's the only way you fail, is to quit. And just because you quit at some point doesn't mean that you can't pick something back up or give it another try in the future. I've laid on the mat for a while when I've gotten knocked down by life, but I always got back up. And now that I know this, I get back up faster, because it's part of the process of learning. What could I have learned from that? What can I use now in the future? Like for me, it was like, even when I first started doing this stuff, it's getting here and being more relaxed and letting it flow. Like it's just me talking to you in this room and there's no pressure, because I'm actually trying to teach people stuff that will help them at some point in their lives, I'm hoping. I think it does. But I can't be the judge of that. You guys have to be. So again, that's the thing, is that when you focus on making it about other people and about what it is you're trying to teach and teach and message you're trying to convey, then it gets easier, because you're not focused on yourself. Because again, this isn't about me. I'm trying to use my experiences to help teach you guys something. But this is about what can you take away from it? What changes do you want to make in your life? What beliefs do you maybe have to start questioning? What are some patterns of beliefs that you developed as a kid, maybe even as an adult? I don't know. I don't know all these things. These are the things you have to search for, and you have to become aware of first. Because if you're not aware of these patterns, you're not aware of these beliefs, then you can't focus on how to get rid of them and how to change them. And that's what Unleash the Power Within. That's what it helps you do, is to discover these beliefs and then interrupt those patterns and change them and create new ones. Because we can always stop this machine we have in our head of thoughts. Sometimes they get in a negative spiral, and I have to be like, oh, hold on. I'm sure we've all been there, where you can't sleep at night, or you're so stressed out. I don't know how to break all those patterns yet, but I know that not every thought you have in your head is true. I know that. But again, at the end, and you can in every moment just even start stopping your in those moments and just start asking yourself, is this true? It might not be. It's a start. You become aware of it. You at least interrupt that pattern of negative thoughts by asking yourself that question. It's a start. Be like, is this true? That's a good question. Is it? At any point, you broke up the negative thoughts, and then you can start having different thoughts. And the more you do that, the more that awareness is, the more that you focus on. Nobody's going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But becoming aware of these ideas in that thought process can be the start of changing those beliefs, changing those thoughts, interrupting that negative pattern, that negative thinking, and be like, you know what, maybe it isn't as bad as I thought it was. You know what, maybe I can get on here and just start talking and start making videos. And then the more I do it, I'll get more comfortable with it. That's a pretty good idea. And that's kind of what I did. That's how I got started. Because I kind of came up with that idea of, you know what? Some people are going to like me, some people aren't. But I need to get on here and get better at it. Because there are people out there that need to hear what I got to say. Trent Shelton, if you've never heard of him, look him up on YouTube, man. This guy is something else. But over the weekend, he was one of the guest speakers. And, man, he says it, man, you know. Somebody needs your voice. Somebody needs what you have to say. And it's just, man, he hits it hard. So again, at the end of the day, it can be anything at all. It could be something you have to offer. It could be something. It could be an easy conversation you have with a loved one or a friend or something. Maybe they need to hear what you have to say, or maybe, you know, anything in life that you are joyous and passionate about. Share, even if it's just for yourself. But anyway, I just wanted to get back on here and start the conversation again and get back on here. I'm going to try to get on here more, but we know how that goes. Life happens. But anyway, yeah, just keep, no matter what you do, just keep getting back up and keep going, no matter what. Life can change in an instant if you just, you know, if you just have that fire, that drive, reawaken it inside and just keep going. And even if you want to, you know, start something, look for Tony Robbins priming. Do it. It's 15 minutes. It's on YouTube. And it's a good thing to start your day. It helps, gives you a little energy, directs your thoughts. You know, might even change your life. So anyway, like and subscribe. Just want to keep getting this to more people. So, and yeah, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.